Okay. I'd like to call the Personnel Committee meeting to order. Okay. The first item under discussion. Does anyone have anything they'd like to bring up? Anyone at all under discussion?
Oh, yeah, me. Thank you. Last month, you remember we had 8 out of 9 appointees for our planning board, for the county planning board, and my district was the only one lacking. So I have a name to bring up, and what I wanted to do was have a resolution for the full board meeting, just chairman approved to put on, not necessarily to screw up your meeting tonight, but I just want everybody to know that. So I planned on putting that up for a resolution at the full board meeting, and the fellow's name is Bob Perry.
Sure. Good, thank you. Anything else? Okay. All right, moving forward. We do have a couple add-ons, but the first resolution on committee is a resolution amending the 2014 budget, establishing the position of Director of Labor Management Relations, County Executive. I'll sponsor. We need a second. Does anyone want a second?
Can you second off the committee or not?
I would allow it. Martin, thank you. Okay, discussion. I'll start. Coming from the position of the Board of Supervisors, I believe in this in many facets. I was a new person from the Board of Supervisors, so I wasn't there for a long period of time, but labor management does matter. We need the communications. We are going into the 6th month of a brand new form of government, so the better the lines of communications are, the better we will run cohesively with the county executive, which is why I so strongly support this position. I will not support all positions that come forward. Let me make that very clear. And it's not because I don't believe in job growth or people getting jobs, but because I want us to run smoothly and cohesively for both halves of the government. Really, and it's also the one word that people don't think government has, and that's accountability. I think it's been lacking. It was lacking. I think that's why the change in government happened. There's some departments that run very efficiently. Other departments have been lacking. So I think we'll have a very good grasp in 4 to 5 months if this position is going to sink or swim. And truthfully, if it's not what we think it's going to be, and if it doesn't produce, we get rid of it. But truthfully, I believe that this could be such a huge asset to this county and to the 2 branches of government working together, that I am 100% hoping that we can come together and support this. So, Martin Kelly.
What is the actual annual salary?
The actual annual salary,
The annual salary, this is a prorated amount for 7 of the 12 months. The annual salary is $50,000.
yes, Carrie.
I'm definitely against this. I just think it's another layer of government that we're establishing. I think the accountability should be at the department head level. If they're not doing their job, then we ought to look into that. We do have a personnel officer, and I feel this is also his responsibility. I just think it's a duplication of services because apparently some people aren't doing their job the way they should be. Thank you.
You're welcome. I really value legislator Beniak. I just want to try something else. I want to think out of the box. We used to have a labor management committee that did some things in the past. This is just a completely different way to go with a completely different new form of government. So, and again, with the budget cycle, if it doesn't work, we do have enough time with it. It's not just 1 or 2 months. It's a good, solid frame to really get an assessment. And that's why I think I support the proposition. I know that Matt wanted to say something, and then could I go?
Your chair.
Okay.
I met with Matt about this, and we had a good conversation about it. And part of what I was also hearing, and it's not, sometimes things always aren't descriptive perfectly in a resolution, but thinking outside the box a little bit too, when you look at how much we pay for labor attorneys, I don't want to be quoted, but I think it's 100 and much.
A lot.
It's a flat retainer is almost $4,000 a month, and then there's additional costs that are associated with grievances and going to per hearings and those things. However, there hasn't been a whole lot of that engagement back and forth between labor and management, and it hasn't gone that way. I anticipate, having to deal with issues much more often now that we're actually addressing issues. So yeah.
To my thought, I would expect that line item could be reduced drastically if they're only negotiating contracts. And when we talk about attorneys and how many we have other than the county attorney, to me, I'm looking at a direction that line item would be drastically reduced, significantly reduced, except for the times when we might have arbitration. And I really believe this person could handle the arbitrations. You don't have to be a lawyer to do that. I do it every day, and I'm not. So, I really believe that if used right, and time will tell,
Yeah.
but if used properly, this person would drastically reduce that line item, if not eliminate, or could eliminate that line item. And I'm only talking about the labor. The contracts have been negotiated, or at least the most of them. So I don't know why you would have to have that retainer at $4,000 a month. That's really the cohesiveness that it brings is one, but for me, I'm looking at the dollars.
Yeah.
Now, if I saw that number in the budget still at 130,
Right.
or whatever it is, 4,000 a month, then I'd have to question why would we hire somebody if we're going to have that attorney there? Or those attorney fees still not high. Thank you.
I'm just wondering out loud, I don't know if Tom, you can help me, or Matt, that labor attorney that's on retainer, when does he have a contract for?
I believe it's through the end of it's either this year or next year. I'm not 100% sure.
Just because I just don't understand the duplication. Why would we need this person if we're already contractually obligated to pay the attorney?
Well, I mean, I'd be happy to speak to that. I do not see this as a duplication at all. I think we all understand our personnel office is operating at a bare bones staff. A lot of our departments are operating at a bare bones staff. I think some of our commissioners of departments are almost set up to fail by the very nature in which the structure is. It has become abundantly clear to me in the first 4 or 5 months that the amount of issues that we're dealing with as far as our structure goes are great, and it's going to be very time consuming. Everything from implementing our new the dress code, the time and attendance, the leave time, the code of conduct, and following up on those issues. We just don't have the resources to do that right now. We absolutely don't. Everyone in the personnel office is maxed out. I view this as an extension of the personnel office in my office, directly under my supervision, that we can work on these issues on a daily basis. In talking about some of the problems that I see, this is where Tom and I went with this conversation. We thought this would be a heck of an idea. It's something other counties are doing to try to think outside the box. And there's a lot of things that are getting done now that need to get done. And I think we need the resources to be successful, and this is a big part of that for me.
So if this is not a duplication, then you would not be eliminating the need for an retainer labor attorney?
Well, I think when we talk about the need for a labor attorney, it's, some of it is preventing it from getting to that point where we have to go to court and we have to go through arbitration. Things are in the process of changing in the county, and it's not going to be an easy process for a lot of people. And we need to make sure from a management side that we're working with the unions and to resolve issues before they grow to be big problems and we end up in arbitration and end up in a lot of those, you know, expensive court battles. And that's what we want to avoid. You know, it helps speed up the process. Having someone that can focus on these issues, it would be incredibly helpful to not only my office, but the whole team. Right now, I'm doing a lot of these duties myself and not having the time to focus on other issues that I should be focusing on because I'm trying to do it all. And I think this is a wise investment, and hopefully, you know, we can give it a try and see how it goes. And I have no doubt that you'll not be prove that this is a good thing.
Terry?
As for the labor attorneys in the budget, I'm hearing, well, it could save some money, possible. For me to even entertain this, here's what I would say. If you cut the labor line item, and with that savings, I will possibly take another look at this, but right now, I'm against it. Or just keep it, put it in the budget, and we can look at it during budget review. And then if we can cut the labor side of it and use that money to fund this, then okay. But I would like some guarantees.
Well, I think another big thing about this is we've done our due diligence in looking where we can find. One thing that was asked of us is, you know, there was expressed that, you know, you don't want to use the budgeted money for fund balance or the contingency budget or the fund balance. So we've looked and tried to find ways to fund some of these positions tonight that are going to keep us within our budget for this year and will maintain in the budget moving forward, so you don't see that additional cost. But you know, so I just wanted to say, you know, we are having a close look at, you know, being fiscally responsible here, and hopefully. But I mean, from my first number of months in the job, it's very apparent to me that we are, what we ask of our various departments with the resources they have, it's a tough haul. And if we want to do things better, and we're going to want to be more efficient, you need the resources to find those efficiencies. And that happens by working in the trenches with your department heads day in and day out, and having the people there to make sure we do that. Just very similarly to some of the other things that, you know, have come to light with some of the good work that Tina and Mike have done in DSS, you know, finding $1.6 million by changing, you know, a reimbursement process. Those are the things that are going to generate money. But if we don't have the time to find those things and improve our structure and be more efficient, then it's going to be, we're not going to be getting the most out of our time here. And this, for me, is about being able to hit the ground and just tackle all the issues that we see out in front of us. And there are plenty of them, ranging from small departments to large departments, of things we need to do to be more efficient and better. So that's why I'm bringing this forward.
Do you feel comfortable, and I like where you did find it, the 29, 166, 67. Do you feel comfortable where you found it for this year, and that you can find from next year going forward?
Yes, there was in the hospital and medical insurance line, as some of you are aware, some of you may not be aware, we're having some very serious issues with our retiree health insurance that we're looking to address. That was what those funds were in there for. It's going to cost us significantly less to address those issues than what we originally thought, which left the funding there. So I'm confident that, you know, this will be able to stay on the path we're on moving forward. And will certainly be incorporated into the budget that we deliver to you folks in a few months.
Soon,
So yeah,
coming up fast.
yes.
Okay. Joey?
My question is, why can't this wait till budget time so we can take a look at it and why the immediate
Well,
need for it?
the reason why I'm in favor of it is because the sooner we get this going, the sooner we can see the implementation of it. The sooner there's an actual reaction, there's accountability. We have the motions going. This is an oversight over, labor management is just that, it's labor management. We have hundreds of people employed, and while we do have a department head is just that. It needs to have, yes, ma'am.
Joe, and one of the things that I think the immediate nature of this for me is, we need to start our labor management meetings, all the preparation for those meetings, all in organizing those meetings, the follow-up after those meetings, that needs to happen now. And we need some help to get that done. And that's one of the big pieces of things that need to happen right away, but also we're working on implementing, like I said, reiterating our dress code, our time and attendance, our leave time, all that stuff. It's one thing to just get a policy out there to the department heads, but then it's another thing to make sure we're following up and doing everything that we need to do to make sure employees are adhering to those new policies and procedures. And maybe policies are the best word, the directives that come out of my office. But it's sorely needed at this point. I could definitely use the help. And like I said, it'd be almost an extension of the personnel office in my office, and it helped us do the work. I mean, will the sky fall if this doesn't happen this month? No. But we won't be as better off as we could be January 1st as if we didn't have this position.
Yes, Tom?
If I could ask Matt, we got into it somewhat when we talked about it, but your vision of, for instance, discipline, will there be a mixed signal sent on who the disciplinarian is? Is it this person? Is it you? Taking advice maybe from this person? Is it the department head? I mean, for instance, in the sheriff's department, he's a co-employer. If discipline happens, correct me if I'm wrong, Sheriff, you do your own disciplining. So I don't know that that person is going to be of great value to him, but to the rest of the county.
No,
Explain how
you're
that's
absolutely
gonna-
correct. Yes, no, I ultimately would be enforcing the disciplinary measures or the positiveness that's associated with it as well. You know, though there's people that in the county that work hard and do a fantastic job, we need to celebrate those people. So it's twofold, but as far as in relation to the discipline, it's carrying out that day-to-day work that needs to be done. That I might have 6 meetings in a day, only 1 free hour. I might not have the time to follow up on some of these other personnel issues that need to be followed up on, and that communication between my office and the department heads and what the expectations are moving forward. I don't think I view, if we had a fully staffed and functioning departments across the board, and I'm not sure I would necessarily need to see this. I don't think this is a lifelong position. I don't think this is something that's going to be 20 years. I think we have identified the problems. How are we going to fix the problems? And I think this is a big part of righting the ship and doing it in a way where we're maximizing our time that we have rather than waiting. But you're right. It's not ultimately I have the authority to hand out the discipline and then defend that discipline should we have an issue from the union perspective. But working those issues out ahead of time is a big part of saving us money in the long run, and that's a big part of this position.
One of what I'm hearing is, one of the positions I've always looked at in favor is deputy commissioners. And it seems like it's a position that's gone to the wayside, where that position backs up all the department heads. And it also helps with disciplinary, with policy and procedure, dress code, time and attendance. And it sounds like this position covers it in all aspects for all departments. So again, that's another reason why I do favor it. And it's for an all-inclusive reason, and we can find out in a very short period of time whether it's going to produce. So, yes.
I have a question for Matt.
Sure.
Would this position be used at the sheriff department for his employees?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we've worked very well with the sheriff's office now, and
Well,
sheriff.
my question is, who has I believe the sheriff has the authority to discipline, not the labor director, correct?
Yeah, well, I would ultimately have the, whether we have a labor management director or not, ultimately I have the authority and the sheriff has the authority, and we've been working very well together, but the sheriff will even attest to you, there's been times where he's needed some follow-up, and I've been, whether I'm in, Cooperstown at a meeting or doing this, or, might be tied up with a number of things, this is a resource for the sheriff and all the other department heads where we could have someone following up on some of the issues, for example, whether it be a disciplinary issue where we need some backup or we need to get in contact with the labor attorneys and that can help fill in that communication and that tie, that connection. So it would be, I think it would certainly benefit, the sheriff and I have worked very well together, but I think it'd just be an added help and an added boost. Frankly, if I had it my way, I would like to see a number of these management positions in every department, because I think that's a big place that we're lacking. But I know that's not something that the legislature is going to go for right now, and so I'm trying to, like what Tom and I said when he brought this idea to the table was, this is the most efficient way to get the results that we're looking for.
One thing that the critics of this new form of government and the charter, one of the messages that they were trying to send was that this was going to grow government. And I guess maybe they're right.
Well,
Again, and I don't want to start this off poorly, but I think when Matt says it would be, in 2010, I was here, and we did, I think, 54 people lost their jobs. Some of them came back, but when people lose their jobs, that is devastating to families. But this is the business of large government. And that being said, this is one position instead of at least 4 or 6. Well, if you think of deputy commissioners for multiple departments. So I'm trying to think of the best outcome for the government and running the best we can. I will not be supporting some, or maybe we'll take some time. I'm not going to be quick to jump. I am conservative. For this one, I've been thinking of the best assistance for all of the department heads for for a while, but I know I've said my piece on it. But yes, Alex.
Just an observation, I don't think this represents, making this appointment doesn't represent bigger government, it represents better government.
Thank you,
well,
Alex.
I was just going to leave you on that note. I think we don't judge the quality of this new government based on simply the number of employees we have. I think if we want it the same old, that we stick with the way we've done it over the past, which has been cut, and let's not worry about the organization and how the organization is suffering. We're trying to heal this organization, we're trying to make it more efficient and make it better. And by doing that, you got to make investments, you got to put the resources in a place that is going to help you down the line, and that's what I'm trying to do.
I think Alex said it best. Tom.
Understand how this kind of happened too. We have a lot of conversations, and Matt, and I really appreciate the fact that you respect my opinion. When Matt had originally asked to have a meeting with Ryan and I, there was a much broader plan that was being looked at. And that plan were deputy commissioners. There were, and I said, think about it, Matt, what you're trying to do here. And that's when I said, what you're really looking for, after listening to what he told me was lacking, or that he thought was lacking, and I listened closely, everything he was talking about seemed to evolve around labor. And I said, you don't need a deputy commissioner. You don't need 2 of them, or 3 of them, or 4 of them, or whatever you said, 6. you need a person, if that's what you're looking for. So, I mean, I wasn't sold on the idea of adding more jobs and growing to it, but I was trying to help them with the thought of what you were really looking for. And that was the person that could go help you out, but also, when disciplinaries needed, do it equally across the board, or at least evaluate it equally across the board, not just run to the labor attorney, say, what should we do? Have them say, fire the person, just fire them, because then we'll come back in and defend you when we have to always go to arbitration or, I'm not speaking down on anybody, but that's, I see it every day. And this was, what I heard was your cry to me on the help that you needed. That's why I said, I don't think you need 6, I think you need 1. I think you need 1 good one. You know, and
And I appreciate it, that's the way I'm trying
but
to.
I also said we need to find the money, and I also said if you're gonna really look at this labor, you know, the contracts are being resolved, you really need somebody, and I don't know that the person couldn't also do that for you.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at this as a, you know,
Yeah, just like,
savings.
you know, a lot of the other issues that have come before us, you know, I go right to the chairman and just explain to him what I'm looking for and what I'm seeing, and we have that healthy discussion and debate at times, and this is a result of one of those meetings.
Martin?
Before we vote on this, I would like to remind everyone that Ryan isn't here, and there are other members of the legislature that aren't able to vote on this. So we do need 3 people to move it to a full board if we want to continue the discussion with everybody who is on the legislature.
Right.
That's true, I tried to sneak a vote in on another committee.
Aw. Okay, so we need 3 to move it forward to the full board. Okay. Wishes of the committee? Should we do a roll call? Roll call. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Chairman Wheeler,
Yes.
Legislator Beniak,
No.
Legislator Isabel,
No.
Legislator Kelly,
Yes?
and Legislator Whites is not here. So that's 2 and 2.
Yeah.
I can't vote. Well, I think I could, but then the number would be 6, so you'd still need 4. Am I right, Doug?
Well, that would be true, but actually, that's under the old system, that's been revised, you wouldn't be included.
Unless it was to make a quorum.
Right.
Make a quorum for discussion purposes, yes, but you do have a quorum, you have 4 out of 5.
Right.
Okay.
What's the new, are those the other add-ons?
Okay, we have a couple add-ons. All right. Is there any particular order?
Whatever order you need.
Okay. Why don't we start with the resolution amending the 2014 operating budget, the network systems administrator for the sheriff. I'll sponsor, I need a second. Joey? Oh.
Who? Joe?
Mhm. Okay. Any discussion? None?
So we're creating another?
Do you want to know where the money's coming from?
Yes.
Thank you, Martin. The money is coming from 911. This position is established. It's been established, but keeping this position has been a little bit difficult, and it is a marvelous employee. The sheriff actually is here, if you'd like to hear it from him personally.
Kind of tough crowd then.
Bring coffee, will be better.
We'll bring breakfast. I'll give you a little history so you understand what we're doing here. Back in 2012, at that time, we had a network tech in the dispatch center. And we had a regular, I don't know what his title was, he worked out of data. He helped us with our data problems at the sheriff's office. 2013, they eliminated that position from data, the board, through the budget. And the person that was doing like tech work for 911 was not doing it anymore. They were just doing dispatch work. So I lost 2 positions. I guess you call it 2 positions. In 2013, before the budget was passed, the board said, okay, we'll give you a data person up there, because they realized we need a data person up there. Everything is data. They gave me this person, and I worked with data department to try to come up with what I needed to do the work up there. Data gave me the title of network tech. And that was back, again, beginning of 2013. The person's been working there over a year now. And his job duty has changed, and we found what he's doing now is higher than a network tech. And on top of that, because I lost my tech doing 911, who was getting paid $6,000 more a year to do that besides dispatching, then Justin picked up all that work. And on top of that, he's building systems and planning and helps me with all my resolutions when it comes to data or any other thing that I'm doing that affects him in 911. So, to justify his position, we decided that we better look at this again. We looked at it with Mr. Baya, and we went through what he does and what the next title up was. And this is the next title up, the systems administrator. And so we decided that this is the way we want to go. This covers everything, and we'll include the 911 in it. Now, Barbara said that the money would come from 911. Yes, it will come from 911, not just this year, but continually come from 911. The duties, the extra $10,000 per year. The duties that he does are the duties that girl did before, and the 911 duties. So 911 law says that the money can't come out of 911 reserves, which we have. Any questions? Okay.
Anything else? Wishes of the committee?
Move it to full board.
Okay. The next add-on is resolution reestablishing a full-time safety officer. I have the only resolution, I guess. Let me send this that way. Yeah.
So much for paperless.
I know. Yeah.
Can't attach it until you guys decide if you want it.
I know. I'll sponsor. I need a second. Even for discussion purposes?
Just read it, but just a minute, okay?
Take your time.
I'll second it for discussion purposes.
Thank you, Joe.
When did we get this?
Pardon me?
When did we receive this?
Just now, I guess.
Well,
That's
the
what
office.
passed out.
Well, it was being worked on, but you remember I was away for a conference, so.
Well, I,
There's been add-ons. I had a family issue. Cheryl was away on a conference. So that's why there's an unusual amount of add-ons. If you'd like, we can table them. I have no problem with that. If you have any questions, I feel fully prepared on this resolution in particular to answer most questions, actually. So bring it on. Yes.
Personally, I would like to wait on this. We're in the process of hiring an insurance broker, and I
Yes.
would rather have that person take a look at this job and actually see what we need. In the past, as you well know, this job really didn't work. So, in saying that, again, I don't know where all the extra money's coming from, but let's wait on this, put it in the budget for next year, let the insurance broker take a look at it, and then we can decide on it, see if there's enough money there. Maybe we can do something with this job to save us money on our premiums. That I don't know, but that would be something up to the insurance broker to tell us. So, again, it seems to be an awful lot of jobs that are being established here, and I just don't understand why. That's what the budget process is for. Then we can look at it and see if we got enough money to cover it, or if there's a savings from someplace else. Thank you.
Well, I do actually have an answer for that. Whatever the variables that are with a broker, that wouldn't be until much later on. And the difference that would be with the safety officer wouldn't be for quite a few months going forward. The reason why this tally is at 24,131 is because the county would be incurring the whole balance right now, while at this point, we would be partnering with the city. So we would only be at a burden of 50% of the cost, because the city could utilize the safety officer for half. There is always a issue with the safety officer and how it could enhance the county. It's not something I'm going to battle like I did the last one, but I have battled for the safety officer continuously on the county level. I'm a city representative. I think that they could use it, but I serve the county. Martin?
Does the city currently have a safety officer, or are they waiting on us?
No, they did a lot over, I think they said $28,000, more than we would with this resolution. Joe?
Do we have a complete job description for this position or not?
Yes, we do.
Okay, could I get a copy of that maybe?
You certainly can.
Joe, I'll email it to you.
Thank you.
Alex?
Few questions.
Yes.
Number one, I don't clearly see the reason why this position is going from part-time to full-time.
It's really, the part-time position did not work. The reason why it would go from part-time to full-time is we would be able to share the costs with the city, and maybe Matt could explain it
I
better.
think in the experience we had last time as a part-time safety officer, a lot of times the type of response that you'll get will be sometimes folks that are retired, looking for some part-time work. With the amount of issues that we have to deal with here at the county, what we thought of, and this came out of a shared services meeting, is how can we get that full-time person, that person that's maybe in their 40s doing this as a career, that's trying to be a true professional, and that's the type of person we want. That's that young motivated type. How can we do that? And when we talked about sharing with the city, well, we can both have a top quality caliber person at almost a part-time cost. And just one thing I would add to this is that there is the share that the county would pay for the rest of the year, most of it would be taken care of by the money that's already in the safety officer line. But just to answer your question, that's why we had a full-time safety officer. It worked well, but there was issues of authority in the old government. Who had the right to do what? You know, a lot of times we would put forth initiatives and then necessarily, you know, for whatever reason, it wouldn't get implemented because of the structure. Now, it would be a different story because they would have that authority under.
My only question is, basically, what would prevent the county from continuing to have a part-time safety officer, having the city also hire them as their part-time safety officer? So essentially, they have 2 part-time jobs. Is it because this position will be full-time and therefore eligible for full-time benefits?
No, benefits really wasn't part of the discussion. The more of the discussion was, we want a full-time caliber person, and that's why, you know, and we, in discussions with the city, we thought it would be, number one, a good shared services opportunity. Number 2, it would give us both a chance to have somebody that's full-time, even though they're splitting time between 2 places.
Okay, so it was just more to attract a better pool of candidates.
Correct.
It mentions that the part-time position was competitive, non-bargaining, in the managerial class, et cetera, et cetera. Will that still be the case with the full-time person?
Yes.
That's all I have.
Okay. Joe?
Okay,
Martin?
I'd like to make a motion to table this to the next Finance Committee.
The motion's out there. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Joe? Okay. Should we do a roll call?
Table it.
Table it. Okay.
You can't ask
Do we
a
have
question
enough?
after table.
At the table?
You can't.
That's 3.
Okay,
So, yeah, I think that's enough.
I didn't hear a third person.
Oh, Terry. Yep. Ryan's not here. Okay. Yep. And I believe we have one last one. No, we have
CSCA.
CSEA. That's still on my list. Yep. I apologize. No, I don't have the CSEA.
Here, you can use mine.
The whole thing? Okay. We have a resolution amending the 2014 operating budget, memorandum of agreement between the County of Montgomery and CSEA, Local 2000, AFSCME, AFL, CIO for part-time employees, county executive, with a memorandum of agreement attached. I'll sponsor. I need a second.
Second.
Joe? Martin?
Just for future reference, when we're creating a new position and such, can we add on FICA taxes and everything that's associated with the new position?
This isn't a new position.
No, I know that.
Okay.
We've had a few positions.
I
that brought us
understand,
through, and
yes.
we're seeing the full implications.
Okay. The whole cost of the position? Certainly. Okay. I'll add that. Okay. All right. Is there any other discussion? Wishes of the committee? Move with a positive? Yes.
Well, I could say no.
I know you could. I said I could shoot you. Okay. Thank you. I didn't even write on it. Yeah. Okay, we have one last resolution, and it was asked to come before this committee. So we'll bring it up for discussion purposes. I will hand these that way and these that way. And it is a resolution amending the 2014 operating budget and establishing a position of Executive Secretary for Economic Development, Planning, and Tourism. It has a sponsor, I will second it for discussion purposes. Okay. And I'd like to start off by saying I have consistently supported economic development throughout my tenure in the county. And while back to 2010, they've taken some cuts. They did just get a very qualified person in there. This resolution didn't get on right away. I'd like to know, this is the one resolution, unfortunately, I have the least amount of information on. But I'd be interested in what my colleagues have to say. So it's open for discussion.
I just have one question. Wasn't there 2 positions, economic development, we forwarded to personnel? What happened to the second one?
I believe that Ryan was the one that asked Ken of the positions that he was looking for, what was the most important, and the discussion went with the executive secretary.
But he was going to move for both of them, I believe.
This is the only one that we received, so.
Okay. Again, I just don't know why we don't handle this during the budget process. I would think it's a fair way to do it. When every department has needs, I think that's when you ask for them. And then we can take a look at all the departments in the county and see what we can do for everyone. This is getting like first come, first serve here. Not that I'm against it, I just would rather go through the process, put it in the budget request, and we can take a look at it, and if there's money for it, we can do it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Roy, do you remember anything about 2 positions?
Well, Ken presented, 2 positions, and
I'm just saying you were the sponsors, that's why I was asking.
But this was the only one that Ken.
Yeah, I can answer that. I mean, in light of, the number of needs that you're seeing tonight, I asked Ken, out of these 2 positions, what is the most important that you need now?
Okay.
Given everything that Ken's dealing with in economic development, the fact that they don't have administrative support, I would think that a legislature that wants to support economic development would want to give that office that support. So we wanted to focus on that position and take it from there.
Okay. I'm going to motion to table this for right now until next month's committee meeting.
Can I just,
Yeah, oh, please, I'm sorry.
observation?
I know. Unfortunately, I did it to Tom because once the motion's out there,
You need a second.
I need a second though.
well, if nobody seconds it.
Exactly. Alex, yes. Go ahead.
Just a couple observations. Number one, regardless of the fact that Ken did not request that second position, they would have to be voted on in separate resolutions anyway. The other thing is what Matt kind of said, and I'd like to say it in a short and sweet manner, is that basically he's expressing an immediate need for these positions. I think by waiting for the whole budget process to address the positions, I think you're creating a painful delay for the economic development department. That's all.
Oh yeah, I'm not saying I want to wait till the budget. I just want to wait until, I mean, this wasn't even 10 days before.
Oh, okay.
So I'm just waiting till next month. So I just want to table it for 1 month. So next personnel, that way I'm able to get some information about it. Unfortunately, I wasn't here at the economic development. I had a family issue. But that's why I seconded it. I've always supported economic development and the work that they do. So now I'm going to motion to table. I can do that again. I need a second.
I'll second it.
Thank you. Wishes of the committee?
Table.
All right. All right. Motion to adjourn?
Discussion? Other?
Other? Under other?
I know that the position of safety officer was tabled, so I'm not going to discuss it. But I will say that in the past, I've asked many times to please bring the Public Employee Safety and Health Program agency, which is a state agency that will help, because they're the ones that committed and lay down the laws and go through our departments, and they're the ones who cite us. And they also have the program to help us. So in the future, when thoughts of safety officers or anything come up, I would hope that we could lean on that state agency who dictates what we do anyway, have their input, because it's free.
I agree.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.